You'll notice the format's a little different today. We were hoping to do more of a community structure. Anybody can join the Zoom. If you look in the lower right-hand corner over there of the stream, you'll notice a Zoom info. So if you want to chat in person, you want to come up and join the community and give your point of view, ask questions in person, that kind of stuff, then just join that Zoom info in there. Come in with your camera off. As you can see, HQ and Kushti's camera are off. Feel free to ask voice
Oh,
questions. It doesn't matter. Hop in. So today we've got a couple community members. We've got Grayman, who's a Sigmanaut. We've got Mark the Shark, who is at the Mining Disrupt in Florida, sent by the Sigmanauts. For those of you who don't know, Mining Disrupt is a big kind of ASICs mining conference, and Mark is going there punching GPUs into everybody as he walks. And then we got HQ ER, which is the main core dev of Mu Finance. And then, of course, we've got Kushti in the upper left-hand corner. So feel free to join and ask questions, or pop them in the chat, or whatever you like, or just shout them into a dark closet or something. Well, I'm sure we'll hear them. Why don't we start with Mark? Mark, tell us about Disrupt. What you found? How are the people? Any tips or ideas you have for the Sigmanauts mining pool or anything like that?
yeah. I mean, obviously, so Mining Disrupt, it's a huge Bitcoin mining conference. So, everything and anything Bitcoin. I talked to some people like, hey, I'm here with Ergo, GPU mining chain. They're like, Ergo, didn't that go to like ASICs like years ago? It's like, no. Some people kind of
Oh, that's
snobby
great.
towards me. I asked them like some questions about their pool. They're like, acting as if it's like, hey man, I'm just like trying to pick your brain here. It's like you don't have to be like, any type of way. It's kind of funny. But some other people have been very nice, So I was asking, what's their pay pull out strategy? So a lot of people are using full pay per share. So regardless if we find a block, people get paid up front. So that's what a lot of like I guess miners in the Bitcoin space, specifically the pools, are doing. There's another pool. It's very similar to Lethos, it seems, but they're more of decentralized pool. I think it's called Ocean, and basically allows their and I'm not really sure, I guess, how it maybe works on Bitcoin, but the guy was suggesting the pool makes the blocks on, and so instead of the miners, well, the miners make the block, and that allows them to put their name in the Coinbase, and so now they can, the name on the. I lose you guys.
No, we're still here. We heard most of it. So you're
Oh, okay.
saying the mining pools will just pay out regardless? Are they taking a hit there? Like, what if they don't find a block for days? They're gonna have to pull from their bank. I guess it all evens out in the end, kind of thing. Or are miners
Yeah,
mining to a pool with guaranteed payout, accepting less of a payout, so the more profit goes to the pool, kind of thing.
yeah. I think there's probably. I didn't get to ask the fee. I think the fee is probably a little bit higher. But it reminds me of the idea that C8 had that he wanted to implement, or rather he did, but it's sort of like a call option for the miners,
Right,
right?
right.
So if you want to take your money now, it's like, well, we can still do PPLNS, but if you want to do, say, pay per share, you have the ability to do that, so to speak, with C8's sort of tool. But I think technically the mining pools would be taking a hit, but it's really so the miners, get paid all the time. And we had one miner was like, hey, how come I haven't got paid yet? And it's like, well, we're PPLNS, so you don't get paid until we find a block. And he was kind of like disgruntled about it a little bit, maybe. Um, so something we should take a look at, I guess. DX pool, I talked to the pool operator there. Pretty much same story relative to the payout scheme. And he said, hey, I reached out. I told the people to check out the Sigmanauts mining pool. And the reason why he said there's kind of like no incentive there. And so maybe there's not enough information like what we're doing with like Demirage, what we're doing with the bonus tokens. And then he even was suggesting like, well, how can I trust that it's like reliable? If I put it there, it's not going to be, my mining rigs are always going to be up, and we have a pretty good uptime,
We do,
I
we
would say,
do.
for
Yeah.
the pool. So no really concern there. But I was looking at other people's dashboards that they'd have like on the screen and stuff. And And that's really like the first thing that people see for our pool is like our dashboards and our websites and stuff. So I'm making it a point now to make it. Um, I think definitely it needs to be a lot quicker and faster. And so I made a prototype yesterday, but
You
it's a
were
lot of really
were you
good
vibe
feedback.
coding, Mark?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I put it on the. I did like a live stream. I'm not sure how many people were watching, but it was fun.
I think like 50
And
people I saw this morning. Yeah, nice.
okay, nice. And then there's another pool. It's called Brain Pool, and they're essentially made sort of this like Bitcoin OS, and I didn't really understand it, whether it's like actually the miner running, where it's like that's what mines it, or if it's more of like a Hive OS. It seemed like it was like sort of both in some sense. But in any case, I was like, well, what are your guys' monetization strategies? He's like, well, it's the pool fee and then this OS fee. So you get like 2.5% from this OS fee, and then of course the pools fee, and that pretty much pays for everything. And they had like 5 people at their booth, so I was like, okay, interesting. Um, some I don't know. So from the Sigmanauts perspective for the mining pool, I don't know, we can maybe take a look at making some sort of system like that, but not really sure where to start. But just trying to think of different monetization strategies, right? Different marketing strategies, sort of. But I think I definitely got a lot of feedback as to where we are in our ecosystem relative to our pool and the hash rate, and then maybe how we can sort of grab more hash rate. So from a security perspective within the pool, marketability, um, and then just reliability, I think.
My question is, how do we make them as exciting as like the Cardano people like are bound to their stake pool operators, right? Like
Right.
they'd wear shirts with their stake pool operator's face on it, for God's sake. Why can't that be the same with why can't that be same with mining pools, right? Have kind of some
Yeah.
sort of allegiance. But I imagine it comes down
Because
to,
miners are geeks.
well, that too, plus, but they'll I think there's a lot more hopping going on in mining than there is in the stake pool operation outfit, right? Because miners may hop from one coin to the next, to the next, to the next, whatever's profitable to pay for their rigs, and
Right.
so there might not be that kind of specific attachment to those pools or those coins in that aspect.
Oh, we don't see that on our pool though.
No,
We have a
yeah, we
consistent
do.
100 gigs. We did have 150 gigs like a week ago for like a day. Somebody popped in with 40 to 50 giga hash, so that was really sick. I'm not sure where they went, but and then even in the website, maybe we need to have like a little like, hey, what kind of feedback would you like to see? And then that's of space so we can be like, hey, I like this, or some space, aside from Telegram for people to reach out to. Just less friction, I guess.
Right. I think you were challenged last week, Mark, to open up a Signal link, right? Was it Signal?
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
you could be
someone's
right. You could
requesting
be
a
right there
signal
with
group.
Donald Trump and the Secretary of Defense.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Our war plans will get leaked from the Sigmanauts mining pool, yeah.
Oh boy! But you found a connector, right? So anybody who has time can work with us to make that connection happen if you want to as well, or one of us
Yeah,
will do it in
absolutely.
our free time. But yeah, super cool. Did you say you met up with the DX boy
Yeah.
from DX boy? What's his? Did you mention Demirage at all?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, he actually is not really sure what it is. He actually requested some information and materials about it. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll totally, like, when I get a moment, I'll send some of that information over. But of course, we don't want, um, selfishly speaking, we don't want DX Pool to have Demirage because then it's like, well, you guys are going to find all of our blocks, all of our blocks with Demirage.
But I mean, I don't like that we're in kind of what's it called? Um, what's the word? Purgatory right now with Demirage, right? Demirage was made so that. Well, in mind, it was thought of so that there'd be a nice jump from when it was turned on to actually pools utilizing it, right? So now we're in a
Mhm.
spot right now where not just pools are utilizing it, but we'll see a rogue person come on and just snipe blocks from Demirage as well. So non-miners are actually getting it. So I feel that's a shame that
Right.
non-miners are losing some of that stuff. So it'd be nice if more pools engaged so that wouldn't be possible, and the miners who originally intended to get that are scooping up that Demirage.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's only for a few blocks, I've noticed, where some
Yeah, it's
high,
here and there. Yeah, yeah.
whereas like I like skipped a week and I came back to the wallet and we had like 170 erg, over 2 weeks of collection. It's
Damn,
insane. Yeah.
that is nice. That is nice.
So I
I
mean
think.
that's the incentive right there, get extra erg
Yeah, I
for
know.
mining to your pool.
And it's not that difficult to run. It's a modified node. It's a modified. There's a. You don't even have to modify mining core. I think that runs on its own, and then you put a
Right,
config into
yeah.
mining core or something, and then you run a little storage rent app, and that's it. It just does its thing. Tell what wallet for it to collect to, and watch that wallet, and
Right.
you'll see the stuff come in. So, yeah, it's really a no-brainer. Oh, HQ is gonna talk. Let's hear HQ. Go for it, HQ. What's up with you? How's Mu
Yeah,
Finance doing?
well, Mu Finance is doing great. I just wanted to share some idea which I just got about related to mining. So as we know that we can see how many blocks were mined by all the pools. So how about we create a simple tool where people can compare in dollar value of how much they are getting for mining, and
Oh,
that's how
that's interesting.
we can show them that the extra bonus they get, they are getting more profit on mining with six pools.
Right, but actually, the only
Yeah.
thing we don't know is how many people are mining to that pool, right? So we can't do that individual division, unfortunately. So we know that X amount of people are mining to our pool, but we have no idea how many people are mining to DX pool. So while we would know the totals coming in, we wouldn't be able to divide that by a number to say, okay, the individual person gets this much, and this
Hmm.
pool is 1% higher, this pool is 2% higher in payouts with the bonus tokens of the thing. But that's a
You
good.
can
We can
divide
just
it
do
per
no,
mega
we can
hash.
just divide the hash rate and that's it.
Oh, divided
Don't
by
go for the user, go for
gigahash.
the hash rate.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So saying for each gigahash, it gets this. Oh, great idea, guys! Fantastic.
Yeah, totally.
That's
Or
really
just
Well,
be
cool.
and
like,
knowing
hey,
the individual miners might help you if you were trying to make this into more of a social thing. One of the problems is that, who knows? Like, and what was the blockchain that told hero miners that if they didn't get some of their people
Starts with a
offline and
D. I
stayed
forget.
with it?
Something D.
like
D
Wasn't
Dynex
something.
or
that
something.
peanut?
Dynex. Yeah,
Wasn't
you
that?
got it. Yep.
I mean, are there 800 people mining there, and then all of a sudden, like two or three are the vast majority of the hash rate? So it doesn't matter if 700 of the 800 people leave. I mean, it's that's the problem with mining. It goes with being permissionless and pseudonymous. So
Well, I understand that in other chains, right? Like miners might not care and point their rigs to wherever the profit is, right? Which is fine. But on Ergo, at least miners need to understand that they have a lot more control over the network. So it's in their best interest not to saturate hash on one pool in those instances. So, I mean, that's a hope in the future, right? But I think we're in a long, not a long, but I think we're ways away from that, where miners are going to start recognizing that they can make those parameter changes. But HQ, I love that idea. That's great. That shouldn't be too hard to do either.
Yeah, for sure. We could say, hey, our block reward is like, I mean, what is it right now? I think is it 15 or is it 18 right now? I think we're about to hit
We're
a.
about to hit 15, I think, right?
Okay, so yeah, we could be like it's 18 plus 3, or whatever on average for the demarage for the week, for our block rewards or on
Plus
average,
bonus
right?
tokens, that kind of thing. Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Actually, I was not doing it like a future. So we can do it like a past. In past 30 days, if you have mined with 1 GB on six pool, you could have made this much,
Yep.
and you have made this much on another pool.
Yep.
So you will be showing the profit you could have made. So people
That's
like to
cool.
see those kind of numbers. So yeah, so we already have the price feed for all the tokens we have in the as supported tokens. The extra tokens we do. So yeah, you just have to do the sum up of all the ERG plus
Hmm.
all the tokens and just show the dollar value of it. You don't even need to show the
Totally.
ERG value because nowadays I think miners don't even care about how many ERG they're getting. They will only care about how many dollars they are getting. So
Right.
if you are showing them that you are getting more revenue for mining with us, then the people you will have more incentivization for people to move to the pool.
Awesome. You think you can have that built tomorrow morning, HQ? You've got enough time. It's not too late for you over there.
Just a reminder, I'm a father now, so
We're
my
all
skills are
fathers
not
here.
same.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but my kid is 3 months old, so not like yours.
My kid
We need
acts
to
like
get
a
an Ergo
3-month-old
Dads.
sometime. Yeah, Ergo
Ergo
dads.
Dad NFTs.
I'm wearing my
3-month-old, that's no big deal. Wait till they can crawl or walk. That's
Oh,
Oh
a
yeah.
gosh, yeah,
big
you're in
deal.
for it then. I'll tell you that. That's where I'm in right now, dude. My little one's, oh my gosh, she's all over the place, dude. Running around. Dad, pick me up.
Nice, very nice. All right, let's hear about 6.0 from Kushti. Kushti, you there? We put him to sleep. There he is.
I'm here. Sorry, mic was off. So, finally, it's time to activate it in the mainnet. So, still, there are some things to check. Some things to consider, like mainnet activation parameters, and release a client suitable for the mainnet, and do some final audit. And so on. But I think we can think about proposing wording starting from early May, something like that. And with 6.0 done, we can actually promote different things which are possible now. With 6.0, such as trustless Bitcoin relay, not Bitcoin only, right? And schemes based on that. Then support for bulletproofs, right? For verification of some zero knowledge proofs on the Ergo blockchain and so on. So, and we can think about sublocks next, right? Well, consider some roadmap with public testnet activation and so on after 6.0. So it's been polished. So time to release it finally. This week I will do another release candidate version release. Now with a bit different versions, rules, and so on. And it should be close to the final version. It should be more or less. So in Ergo DAO we also formed a group to work with mining pools and exchanges to inform them about 6.0 release. So to check that everyone would be on that. So for exchanges, still it would be better to update or not. Maybe not, because they actually will validate all the transactions, deposit and withdrawals with 5.0, not in the 6.0 network after the activation. Anyway, there is needs to inform and to track possible consequences. So it's going on. And a lot of updates after 6.0 to be planned and to be developed.
Do you need how many steps along the way will we need to update testnet, right? I think I'm on 6.0 R2 and you have 6.0 R3 out. What are the breaking changes that are going to need to update along the way there for your testing?
You mean for the mining node?
Yeah.
Mining nodes. Yeah, so you would need to update to RC4, which is coming.
Okay. So
RC3
was just a little update.
So it was just a little bit different from RC2, but RC4 would be different actually. Quite different from RC3. There is need to update on the mining nodes because, well, for other nodes, there are 5.0 and they will be there. We will do some testing. Well, how 5.0 nodes would survive under 6.0 transactions being appeared to the network.
Nice. If anybody's running a node right now on mainnet, you can run a testnet node on the same network. The more testnet nodes we have, the better, because it gets a little tough to sync if only a few devs are running testnet nodes. So any community members want to run testnet node, instructions are up there. Use a 6.0 R3 candidate that's there, and spin it up. Try to sync it up, and join in and allow devs to successfully test things, so they're not continuously using Comet on mainnet to test stuff. Right?
Have you reached out to Cheese at maybe QX to see what we need to do to update our node for Demirage relative to this new update?
No, I haven't. He's got an update coming down the pipe that I thought he was gonna give us soon, so I'll reach out to him. I know he's busy on Lithos as well, so so we'll ping him, see what's up. Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice. What about so for those of you that don't pay attention to the forum or miss some stuff in chats, one of the big things that Kushti and community members are working on is the Ergo book. And one of the guys that's here is going to be a contributor to it. Grayman, you there? You mind chatting about what your contribution to the book's going to be?
Well, it's work in progress, so who knows what it'll end up being. But what I'm working on is more about the monetary side of things rather than the technical side of things. And I'm sort of writing about the development of King Dollar as it came out of the pre-Fed era, entered the Fed, and then post-World War II, and trying to explain how a paper currency and then eventually a digital currency overtook and then replaced gold and silver and other metals. And then I'm trying to tie that back to, how did that happen, and what is the magic that they undid, and how can we bring that magic back with cryptocurrencies as a way to sort of defeat the king. And I'm trying to frame it all around a discussion of silver, because silver coinage was very important to the development of America's money system, all the way from the beginning until around 1965, which was after Bretton Woods. So after the dollar was established as the unit of international trade, but before Bretton Woods 2, where we officially reneged on the gold standard and told people that they could no longer convert their dollars into gold. And so silver all through this entire process was always sort of sitting in the background, always sort of the second thought of what is money, and yet there the whole time. And the other reason why both gold and silver interest me is just because they are way more decentralized and distributed than any cryptocurrency, including Bitcoin. And both of them have larger market caps than Bitcoin. So if you talk to a Bitcoin maxi, they will assure you that everything else is going to zero because Bitcoin's first, and that's what the network effect does. And my counter to that would be, I mean, you haven't even beaten silver yet. So, and in terms of centralization, you guys have a real problem. And in terms of utility, you have enormous problems. So we are still in the infancy of the digital money era. And it's at this time that the work that you guys are doing, make more difference than anything else. So you can go on Twitter or X and listen to all the noise of people saying this or that. Listen to what's that guy Justin Bond's talking about how Solana is cypherpunk, and all this nonsense.
Oh, good
And
laugh.
it's if you put it in context, this is all just noise. This is the stuff that 100 years from now, nobody's going to remember any of that. And what they're going to remember is what are the concrete steps that were taken by devs that changed the way that money works and that eventually get adopted because it becomes inevitable. It's not about rooting for your team or network effects or any of this or that. It is about, if you want to be able to achieve this goal, then you have to do these things. And Bitcoin did the first 2 or 3 steps. I mean, it's remarkable. And it's come a long way, but there's a lot more than 2 or 3 steps that need to happen for it to become money. And honestly, it's walking in the wrong direction right now. It's following gold, and the dollar already beat gold.
It'd be interesting if to get your take, between like the gold and silver battle, so to speak, relative to like Bitcoin and AI, because at the conference, a lot of people are worried about AI, but only in the sense of taking up the electrical capacity of what Bitcoin miners could be turning on. And instead, they're making more money with AI. So, in terms of competing for, the resources and things like that, and like say machinery, like should we point our machinery to gold or silver, AI or Bitcoin? That'd be kind of an interesting, I suppose, comparison, maybe.
Well, so Warren Buffett's famous for saying that gold is just a shiny rock. If I buy it and put it in my safe, at best it's held its value, but it doesn't do anything. And I think was it Margaret Mead who said that people wonder like whether or not a small group of people can get together and change the world. In fact, that's the only thing that ever does. So Warren Buffett and Margaret Mead and most of modern Western society believe that money is not just a chip that you use to trade back and forth between a zero-sum game. It is a tool that is used to create new things, including new money. And so AI corresponds to, it's more like investing in a stock or in something that actually produces changes to the world and then generates income. Whereas mining Bitcoin is just getting your diminishing return on a system that is, I mean, theoretically going to go for another 100 years before the emissions are completely zero. But I mean, that's sort of dependent on the concept that the price is going to keep going up as much as it has, and then eventually having a ludicrous fee market, a so-called security budget problem. So you need the money to be flexible, programmable, and to be useful for the creation of of new work, of new companies, of new commerce. And Bitcoin arguably is going in the wrong direction, but GPU mined coins, which could soak up the extra cycles from AI farms that are idle due to lack of users at the moment, could be quite useful because it would give them a way to still spend their energy that they've already paid for in these giant. I mean, a lot of these data centers are now getting their own power stations to go along with them. And so that's a sunk cost, and they need that energy to keep flowing. They need to spend that energy and turn it into something. And hopefully they're getting paid for, changing people's profile pictures to anime, which apparently is the latest excitement.
Pretty cool.
But whatever it is, when they're idle for some reason, then it would be cool for them to be able to not only secure a currency network, but also to run the security that's necessary to make that currency network valid to rely on.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder how much idle time there are on these farms that are dedicated to AI.
They said at the conference, not a lot. Like they're always running pretty much. And I was kind of shocked to hear that. Like they don't have enough capacity. They're suggesting.
Oof.
the demand is that high that it's always on.
Wow.
I'm not sure I believe that.
But
It's true,
it wouldn't be hard.
Microsoft's got buyer's remorse. They spent like some ridiculous amount of their pile of cash, like 80, 90 billion dollars setting up this stuff in Michigan or
Okay.
Wisconsin. And it's just I mean, it might be true for the guys that you're talking to at this conference running
Mhm.
relatively small data centers, but right now you've got the competition at the top levels of AI, at the corporate levels of the people that are trying to sell, not to you, not to somebody that's going to tune their own LLM, but to people like my clients that just want to run their law firm or whatever it is, and run it more efficiently. Microsoft's whatever it is, Copilot versus Google's Gemini. Those are the systems that are trying to sell to those people, and I bet you that there's a huge amount of idle time on all of
Sure,
them.
yeah. Totally. Yeah.
And
For the big
that is the
yeah.
vast majority of the GPUs, or I guess let's just say AI chips, whatever they're
Mhm.
used. I guess these not really GPUs, but not ASICs. So
Right. Yeah, they were suggesting like it has to be like a tier 3 data center, has to have 99% uptime because I guess like some of these quant firms, people I guess are training their own LLMs and they'll run a new model every morning or at a specific time, or they're training and fine tuning a model for like 6 to 9 months. And obviously, if you have any interruption in like that 6 to 9 month case, obviously that's devastating. We'll probably get sued. Is kind of what they were suggesting. So it's kind of interesting.
I'm
Interesting.
ready for the lawsuits when an AI designed bridge or building collapses.
Oh, no.
All the finger pointing is going to come
Vibe
from
code a
that.
building, right?
Oh, jeez. I won't be doing that.
Oh boy. Oh well, that's pretty cool, Grayman. We got a quick question in chat.
Yeah,
Kush, do you see the
yeah, and
question in chat?
yeah, just to add some notes, I think it's actually quite awesome to write non-technical but monetary things, monetary theory and practice related. Because I think we should be in the space not for tech but for money, right? But not not in the sense this retarded crypto industry that does mean. So yeah, it should be about reworking money, right? And tech is just tooling after all. So if you are here for some tech, then the question is what this tech is what for, right? So what are you going to do with this tech? You cannot just be tech for tech. It's just tooling. It's like I don't know, be in a hammer for hammer. Right? So it's quite
Yeah, but it's got to
nonsensical.
be solid and reliable, and in my opinion, open source at the core level, so that you
Yeah.
right. If not, it won't be money, right? Nobody's gonna. The idea that people trust Solana or any of these other closed source systems as a money system is insane to me. Like, how could they?
Yeah. So yeah, it should be open source for sure, but also it should be permissionless, right? In the most broad sense. Then yeah, it's about proof of work. Because it's the only truly permissionless.
Right.
Without any
No
mechanism.
payment gateways as far as that goes. Somebody wants to run something themselves, they can spin up their own node, mine it, and send their own transactions through it, and nobody can stop you.
Right, yeah, and also peer to peer, so it's also does matter a lot because that guy, that cypherpunk, fake cypherpunk troll, Justin Bond, so he's praising Solana and so on as
Laugh every
I
time
know
you say that.
scalable layer one and so on, but in fact, those systems just through away peer-to-peer architecture, right? And
Yeah.
then it's very different story. So it's not a big deal to do a system which is operating in a federated way, so not peer-to-peer, or well a system which has some super nodes, even some parts being peer-to-peer. And
It
yeah,
also
it
calls
it
into
it, 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 it would it would have crazy TPS and whatever, but what's the meaning here, right?
Right.
There is no meaning, there is no value.
it calls into question the value of the ledger that is created from such a system. Same deal with DAGs, or I mean, or really any system that allows pruning on the fly, or these kind of well, the compromises that you make by trying to shoehorn high TPS into something because you think that you're going to compete with Visa that way, or MasterCard. It doesn't work that way. What we're trying to do is we're trying to create a global ledger as a baseline and then build on top of that ledger. And that's, I mean, how do you do that with a DAG? You know, a chain of chains, or a mesh, or any of these other architectures just seem very, I mean, they would say innovative, and certainly they can lead to a lot of speed. But I really wonder in the long run whether this, you know, let's just say the security assumptions are not clear to me in those systems.
Yeah, true. And yeah, so well, I think it's worth to do first some monetary design, some monetary kind of architecture, and then yeah, tech would follow, because we already have well, like hundreds of different solutions. It's not a problem to use them or to introduce new solutions. Yeah, first the problem should be quite clear, right? And what's the space is doing? It's hiding well the problematics, right? Of creating money, creating good money, and so on. So it's going to complete nonsense instead sometimes.
I mean, are there any other chains out there that are focusing on monetary tooling and a new form of peer-to-peer money and finance, like Ergo is?
I don't know. So well there are some quite exciting private cryptocurrencies, right? But they're just trying to do cash, right? But the question is how do you produce that cash, right? So well, for privacy of payments does matter a lot, but first you need to solve quality of money problem, maybe. Then yeah, well, privacy of payments. It would follow. So yeah, well, it's a different story, still very different. And aside of that, yeah, I don't see, to be honest, unfortunately.
Well, Kush, we got
There are some efforts, but yeah, they small scale, and usually yeah, well, not complete, right? Also very partial.
yeah.
All right.
Someday it'll
So
become
questions.
sexy. Yeah, we got a question in chat from Richie. He says, Kushti, can Bitcoin forks like Litecoin and others introduce subblocks via a soft fork?
Yeah, actually, I'm in touch a little bit with one Bitcoin Cash developer. So we're actually thinking about a little bit similar concept. They have even a paper on that. It's called Tailstorm, and actually he visited Ergo platform chat once. That's a guy, Bitcoin Cash Autist. So yeah, well, we having talks sometimes. So yeah, well, it's kind of I believe very generic solution, and it's also similar in some aspects to Leos, which is going to be released for Cardano. It's some Cardano network upgrade planned. And yeah, so for Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, I believe even for Bitcoin itself, maybe it's possible to do something like that. Let me think, because they already have somewhat different from early days transactions, blocks, block transactions, but to say propagation mechanism called compact blocks, right? So when block is generated, they're not sending all the transactions because, well, they're using somewhat protocol already, and it's not that hard to introduce different, more efficient. There are actually a bunch of papers on how to improve compact blocks for Bitcoin, and that's where I've got some ideas for subblocks actually. So yeah, well, the only question is, yeah, well, rewards. I guess how to reward miners. It's even harder in Bitcoin, but maybe solvable. I don't know.
All right,
We
cool.
need to check carefully.
All right, well, it's hitting the top of the hour, and I have to go to a in real life meeting. I just want to say that, you know, we've been trying different formats. I love this format. I love the fact that community members, Sigmanauts, Greyman, HQ, Mark the Shark come on and chat and give updates. That's exactly what Ergo is, and I think that's ideal. But I understand people also like the other format, the more straightforward people chatting at you with AMA style formats. So we'll see. Keep tuned to the chats, and we'll figure out what's going on. And next week we'll let you know.
Yes. So yeah, if there is a demand for some classic format, then next week maybe there could be 4 of us again. So Joe, you, Dan, and me. Well, our the classic may, why not?
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. HQ, Grayman, Mark, Kushti. You guys all have a great rest of the day.
Yeah, see you, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you guys. Bye.